people. So today I want to make a really kind of personal video on my experience as a little girl dealing with a pedophile, actually multiple pedophiles. So the pedophile that I'm talking about was someone that was very close to my heart, and someone who I loved. And his name was Uncle Dean. And he wasn't really my uncle. I just called him Uncle Dean. And I loved him. And I know that might come to a shock to some people. They might be like, how could you love somebody who tried to molest you and molested you or whatever? And I'm just thinking to myself, you need to listen. Because this was a first-hand experience as a little girl that I had, and I'm still that little girl. I'm just grown up. And I was just crying about this to myself, talking about this to myself privately, and that's what made me want to make this video. So it all started when I was a little girl, when I was a baby. He was around when I was a baby, and you know, he kind of pretty much helped raise me in a way, and you know, he helped change my diaper and all that stuff with my aunt and my mom. And I remember when I was little, he would take me on these cute little dates where I would get dressed up in like these really cute little dresses, and we would go like out to eat. And at the time I was like 2, so I didn't know what was going on. And at the time it was innocent, you know. And I remember the first kind of weird thing that I remember was I put 2 little seashells in my shirt, like 2 little seashells that were about this big, to make it like boobs. And I remember he called me sexy. And I remember at the time I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. Even though I was like 2, I still kind of thought that was weird. But I was like, oh, okay, whatever. So fast forward a few years, maybe about 4, I'm just guessing here. I remember there's this one time where, no, actually it might have been a little younger. Anyway, I was using the bathroom. I don't know how old I was, 4, 5, 6, I don't know. I was using the bathroom at his house, and he had like this outside building outside, so it was like this giant building that was a bathroom. It was weird. It was kind of like a giant outhouse that wasn't an outhouse. It was just a giant bathroom outside. And I remember he told me that he was going to go potty and not to look. So me being a little girl, what did I do? I went in there and looked. And you know, I was just kind of like, and then he was like, no. And then he kind of made me wait outside. I don't remember what happened. But then I remember I said I had to go potty. And then I remember I sat down on the toilet, and I think he came inside and taught me how to roll toilet paper. Like how to fold toilet paper. I don't know. Something like that. And, well, let's just say, you know, because he was asking if I knew how to wipe or whatever, and he taught me how to roll the toilet paper, so he, like, taught me this folding method, and I still use that for some fucking reason. I don't fucking know. Anyway, it's only a here and there thing, but I do find myself doing it a lot. Anyway, so I remember, it's like a very faint memory, but all of this came back to me when I was like 17, so it's a very faint, weird memory. So I remember faint memory of him asking me if I wanted to touch his penis. And I remember I touched it and I said it was warm. And that's about where that ended. And I remember when I went outside, he told me not to tell anybody and gave me a piece of candy. And I remember it was like this weird piece of candy. It was kind of like a rattle candy with like this weird chocolate part on top. I don't know what it was, but I remember going, oh my God, I got candy. So I was excited about the candy. I didn't care about what just happened. I was a kid. I didn't fucking know what was going on. So I was just excited for candy. So fast forward, because these memories are jumbled and weird. I remember this, I have this weird memory of, I think I came home from like a beach or something, and I remember, because my mom was coming to get me, and I remember, I think he was trying to help me get sand out of my clothes, out of my swimsuit. So he was like kind of going like this inside the swimsuit and all over to get the sand out. And I think he was doing my coochie when my mom came in, and she's like, oh, well, and then he's like, oh, well, I'm just getting the sand out because she had a bunch of sand in her swimsuit. And she's like, oh, okay. And I mean, he was a trusted person in our family. And I don't really remember if I had the swimsuit on or what, or if he was just, I don't remember that much. But my mom, I told my mom, and she remembers it. And I was like, Mom, you don't think that was weird? And she said, no, not really. I just thought you had sand in your thing. She really trusted him. And, you know, that's great and all, but unfortunately he was a pedo. So, you know, I also have this other memory of us watching horror movies on his TV for some reason. And they were like these really graphic, horrific movies, but I would like to watch them with him for some reason. And I think I remember laying on his bed one day and him trying to like, or him eating me out. And I think I remember it, but it's like, it's a weird, faint memory. I don't know. Like, I don't know. It all came back to me when I was 17. So, and I remember I cried so hard that day because I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? Because I literally, you know, I didn't remember for so many years. And it just came to me while I was laying in bed one day. Like, I think it was at night. I was just like thinking, and I was like getting flashes of memories, and then I started crying because I remembered it. But anyway, because I mean, I loved this man. And that's the worst part. Because although he was a pedophile, I did love him as a piece of my fucking family. And the fact of the matter is, I'm not saying that what he did was okay, because it's not. I'm not justifying his actions in any way, shape, or form, ever. But I'm just saying, like, I did love him. Like, I genuinely did. And when I say that, I don't mean in a romantic way. I mean, I loved him as a piece of my family, as a piece of my heart. And this motherfucker fucking was a pedophile. You know? He was very sweet. And I remember one day, he, you know, I think it was the same day he ate me out. He was laying next to me or whatever, and he asked me if I wanted to marry him. And I was like 6 years old, so I was thinking no in my head, but I said yeah, because I was 6, and I was like, I don't even know or care what the fuck's going on there. So, yeah, that happened, and I really remember that. So I know that happened for a fact. And, like, part of these memories are just so weird. I'm just like, what the fuck? And honestly, I don't really remember much of him. But I remember those specific core memories. And I remember going to his house, and I had fun. But I also didn't know what was going on. Okay, because children, they don't know anything about that. So doing that to an innocent child is not okay. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what romance is. They don't know what pleasure is. They don't know what an orgasm is. I remember he asked me if I had an orgasm, and I said yeah, because I didn't know what the fuck that was. I didn't fucking know what that was. I just was like 6 years old. I was like, oh yeah, sure. I didn't fucking know what that was. And, I don't know. Here, let me fix this real fast. Sorry, I just wanted to get some light on my face. So, so yeah, I did love this man. I remember one day he stole Pringles from a store because he didn't have enough money to get me some. So, you know, there was reasons why I left him. He was a sweet man, other than being a fucking pedophile. But, I mean, I don't hate him. Even to this day, I don't hate him. And it upsets me that he did that because I was an innocent child. And he knew what he was doing was wrong. And I didn't. And that is the part that bothers me. Is that he knew what he was doing was wrong and still continued to do it anyway. Knowing that I was a child, knowing that I was somebody who loved him, and knowing that I was gonna grow up to fucking think of him like this. So, there's just a lot going on, you know. I remember when I got older, I think I was about 10, I got a call from him. And I remember in the call, like, I just loved him. And I was so happy to hear from him. And I just don't know why. But I didn't know. Like, I don't even know why. But I was just so happy to hear his voice. And I was happy that he was doing okay. And you fucking asshole. I just can't believe he did that. Because I was a little girl. And he was so sweet. You know? He was. He was a sweet man. And I hate saying that. Because he fucking did what he did, but he was. And that's the scary part. Because, you know, if a man that's sweet can do that, I mean, you know, fuck you. Because what the fuck were you doing? I don't know. And it's just awful. It's awful that you didn't care enough. And it's awful that you knew that I didn't know what I was doing. And that I wasn't an adult. I was a little kid. I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what a penis was. I didn't know what an orgasm was. I didn't know what that was. I didn't even know what a vagina was. You know? And I don't know. I think I remember this one time where he asked if I had any friends. And I think I remember being weirded out by that for some reason. It's a weird thing with this thing because I was young and I have these weird fragments, but I don't remember like the whole thing. So it's very difficult for me to explain it, but I remember there was other little girls there with me, and I think they were my friends, yes. And I think they were like jumping on the bed and all that stuff. And I don't know what happened, but I think something happened. I don't know. Oh, I think I fell on the floor, or one of them fell on the floor and got hurt or something. But I don't know. I don't remember. It was just weird. And then I also have this other memory of these spiders jumping at my face. I don't fucking know what that was all about. That might have been, I don't know. Sounds like fucking schizophrenia, but but yeah, that shit, I don't know. But I was in Hawaii, so it's very possible. Anyway, so literally, there's just a lot of things that go into that are just crazy and awful and hurtful to me as an adult now, because I loved him as a person, but not for what he did, and I was so innocent. Like, I didn't know what that was. And it's just very awful to think that someone that you love could do something like that, and you wouldn't even know it because you're little. You know? Not all pedophiles are abusive, weird, creepy, hitting, hateful motherfuckers, you know? Some of them are very sweet, loving people. And that's the worst part, you know? Because you really genuinely never fucking know. You never fucking know. And that's the worst part. And I do love him now, still to this day, not romantically, but I love him because he was sweet to me. And I remember having a good time with him regardless of that. And I'm not saying to do anything to children. I never think that's okay. Never do that. But what I'm saying is, that's my personal experience, and this is my truth. And I know people are going to go, oh, you're just traumatized. No, this is just how I feel as this person who experienced this. If you've never experienced this, then you wouldn't know. And if you're not me, then you wouldn't know. So, I don't know. There's just a lot of emotions when it comes to that. And hurt is there. Disbelief is there. You know, sometimes I don't even believe my fucking self. You know? Sometimes I'm just like, I don't even believe myself. And one time I remember when he called me when I was about 10, I got a call from him, and I remember he said something weird to me that made me feel uncomfortable, and he said something like, you're getting big in all the places, huh? Then that kind of creeped me out. I remember I got a weird feeling in the pit of my stomach, but I ignored it. And, you know, he would, like, send me gifts in the mail, like chocolate-covered strawberries and stuff, and I don't know, like, he did sweet things for me, but, like, I did, at that time, when I was 10, I fucking completely forgot about that. Because it was so long ago, and I just was so innocent, I didn't even know what was going on anyway. And, you know, the fact of the matter is, now that I'm adult, I know what the fuck happened. And I don't hate him. I hate what he did, because why the fuck would you do that to me, you motherfucker? I was a child. You know? I was a fucking kid. I didn't even know what that was. But, Jesus. I just can't believe it, dude. He's something else. He's crazy. But I don't know. It's very unfortunate. It really is. And my experience, so that's pretty much it for that. I think he tried to reach out to me a few years ago, and I just didn't want to talk to him. I think I talked to him just a tiny bit and then blocked him. I didn't know. And I didn't want to confront him about it because I honestly didn't even believe myself. And I didn't know what the fuck to do. And I don't want him to go to jail. And I know this sounds bad. Okay, it does sound bad. I don't. Because I did love him, and I do still care in my heart for him. Which might sound bad, but I do. Because, you know, even though he did that, I still care about him. And it's bad. It's bad because he's a fucking asshole. What the fuck? Like, who does that? Motherfucker. I mean, it could have been worse. He could have been, like, slicing me open and eating my insides and fucking peeling off my scalp. You know? There's always something worse. But at the end of the day, you know, I can't believe it, dude. It's very unfortunate. And, you know, although I do care about him, I don't really want to talk to him. I feel like maybe if he died, I'd probably cry. if I found out. But you're an asshole. And that's really it. That's really it. It's just, he's an asshole. And I don't hate him. I don't want him to go to jail. And I fucking hope you didn't do that to anyone else, you little fucking asshole. I really mean that, because if you did that to any other little girls, fuck you. You told me you loved me, and then you fucking sat there and fucking molested me as a fucking 6-year-old? No. What the fuck? And I sat there and thought that he loved me because I was 6 and I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I thought, oh yeah, this guy, he's so cool, he's my family. He's my family, he loves me. No. That's a creepy kind of love. That's the kind of love that I don't want from an adult man, that I'm not attracted to, and I don't want around me. In that way, no. And I really mean that. And the other experience I had with a pedophile when I was younger, and this was not so personal, but I remember when I was little, I was about 6, I got this. I remember this kid in school would like touch my vagina really hard and tell me he knew I liked it. And I was like, no, I don't, but fuck you. And I remember after that, I kept wanting to, like, I know this is really personal and weird, but this is just my experience, and I don't want anyone to fucking, you know, maybe this is too personal. Maybe it's getting too personal here. I don't want somebody to go, oh. But anyway, I remember I was outside and I was humping a tree. And, you know, I was like, oh, because I thought the tree looked like a vagina. Did I see a vagina before? No, but that's what it looked like to me. I didn't see one before, so I don't know how the fuck I thought that, but I did. And I started humping it. And then this old man, he was just looking at me. He, you know, he saw me. He was walking to his car and he saw me and he was just like looking at me for a few seconds and he said something. It wasn't really anything creepy, but then I remember on my birthday, he came to my door and gave me money for my birthday, and I was like 7, and I'm like, what? You know? I remember I thought that was creepy at that time. I was like, that's weird, because why would he do that? And in my head I was thinking, oh, it's because, you know, a 6-year-old's smarter than you think. I remember I was thinking, oh, it's probably because he's a pedophile and he saw me doing that, so he's like, oh, let me try to get on her good side. Yeah, but I knew he was one, because who the fuck does that to a little girl that's humping a tree? And then, oh, all of a sudden I'm going to come to your door on your birthday and give you some money? I think the fuck not. But, anyway, why would you do that? I don't know, you know? It's very, very strange, but yeah. But yeah, that's the video. Let me know in the comments if you've had any experiences with that. Hopefully yours, you know, I don't know. There's no really, you know, good, not that I know of, experience with that, but you know, I did love him, and I still have love for him in my heart, and that's just the genuine truth, and I don't hate him, and I don't want him to go to jail, and that's just how it is, you know, that's just how it is. I know a lot of people want their, you know, molester or whatever to go to jail, but for me, that's just not my personal experience, and it's not that I enjoyed it. I didn't even know what the fuck was going on, because I was an innocent girl, and I didn't know what the fuck was happening, so, I just thought it was a game, you know, it's very strange, but yeah, and, you know, even after that, I was still, you know, a pretty innocent child. It's just, I didn't know until I got older that what he was doing was wrong. Yeah. But, I hope you've learned from your fucking experiences, you fucking asshole. And I hope you never fucking did that to anybody else. Because that's awful. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.